Treyarch has some of the best maps in COD history, which is part of the reason why they get remade so much. But what maps were the best of the best? A while back, we did a list of the 10 worst maps that Treyarch has ever designed, but why don't we take a look at the opposite side of the coin? Why don't we go with the glasses half full? What's up, everybody? Jimmy or Chaos. Today, we're going to be talking about what I think are the 10 best Treyarch maps of all time. So you let me know what you think the best is. Drop a like on the video. Guys, make sure you have those notifications on so you never miss a new Call of Duty video. And at number 10, I think this is an obvious one. Slums. It's one of the most iconic maps from Black Ops 2, mainly known for that insane courtyard in the middle of the map. I mean, it's a fight pit, if you will, where all the craziest players would go because of how easy it was to get destroyed from 5 different angles. This map was pretty big in terms of surface area, but it was also very fast-paced because of how many choke points were in it. Every streak could get insane, especially in domination when everyone was constantly chucking grenades toward the B flag in the middle of the map, which that was also the major point of interest without any overhead cover. Slums has been remade several times. It's one of the best examples of Treyarch's design philosophy. Straightforward, well-spaced, and with lots of high-octane choke points. I think that's a good way to get things going today. Before we move on, guys, do me a favor. Take 2 seconds and click that link at the top of the description. Go over to the More Chaos Gaming channel and give it a sub and turn on those notifications. We are covering all the latest gaming news, leaks, rumors, PS6s, Xbox Primes, you name it. Get over there and check it out. At number 9, Nuketown. It's a weird one because half of you are going to be mad at me for putting it down at number 9 instead of giving it a place in the top 5, but the other half of you are going to be mad at me for putting it on the list at all. Nuketown is one of the most heavily spammed maps in COD history. In fact, I think it might actually be the most remade map in the entire franchise next to Shipment, so it's only natural people will get burnt out on it. They're fried. But if we're all being honest with each other, which I like to think we do here, it deserves to be in the top 10. It's iconic, and with how much of an impact it's had on the FPS genre as a whole, it's got to be there, right? It wasn't an exciting new way to experience Call of Duty when it first dropped in 2010. It was also a fresh new way to experience first-person shooters as a whole. It was packed with little details. It stuck out compared to everything else in the genre. It's not a perfect map. Obviously, certain versions of it are better than others, but it wouldn't have become such an iconic location if it didn't deserve it. And even though it may be played out, it's earned a place in history. And this is a list of Treyarch's best maps, and this map, well, it was designed in one day. At number 8, Summit. This is one of my, if not favorite, snow maps in COD history. Might be my number 1. I don't know. It's often remembered as one of the fastest maps in Black Ops 1, which is interesting because it really wasn't that small compared to other maps in the game. It was actually a medium-sized map, but all these lanes and corridors, they felt tight. They felt very claustrophobic, and the flow kept everyone in each other's faces at all times. But it was in a way that kind of felt balanced and controlled if you remember when close-range maps were balanced. The outside areas gave you a little room to breathe on your way to the middle building, and that's where obviously everything went sideways as you battle for control of the computer room. Some people staying on the second story, others diving down, dolphin diving down to the ground floor, using the old school radar computers as cover. Summit has appeared in almost every Black Ops game to date. Still one of my favorite. At number 7, I talked crap about the Black Ops 3 launch maps a while back, and I didn't mean to make it sound like I didn't like the game. Hunted. I think Black Ops 3's maps were obviously designed with certain game modes in mind, which made them very good or very bad depending on the mode you were playing. That being said, Hunted is one of the most fondly remembered maps in the game. It was one of the few maps that seemed to be well designed for almost every game mode, although the B flag and domination always felt a bit unfair to me. I mean, it was a gorgeous map. Really pretty waterfall in the middle of the map. It accompanied the pretty large and well-balanced layout that kept you on your toes, gave you some room to run around. You could thrust jump without getting too comfortable because every once in a while, a sniper would take you out if you weren't paying attention. There was also some cool power positions on the map. Second story room next to the waterfall, little hut on the opposite side, as well as that little hut on the opposite lane next to the secret passage on the side of the water. Yep, secret passage. This is one of the only maps in COD history that I think incorporated water and swimming in a good way. That's saying a lot. There's a few things about Hunted I wish were different, mainly the B flag placement and Dom, but it was a fan favorite map, and I think I was probably a tad harsh on it over the years. I'm going to set things straight now. At number 6, Hijacked. Speaking of maps with water, Hijacked isn't exactly the best map to go swimming on, but it's a good map for some high-octane gameplay. This map took place on a big yacht, very narrow, part of the appeal. You were also getting funneled to the middle of the map always. You would get in the insane firefights with the enemy team and battle for control of the 2 main structures. This was basically Nuketown, but shrunken down and put on a boat. You had 2 main buildings, each with a second-story vantage point. You had the insane middle courtyard where all the fighting took place, and then you had the side lanes and the home spawn points where you could kind of get your bearings together, but you also had to be aware of people spawn shooting from the main buildings. When you think about it, Hijacked in Nuketown They're like brother and sister, very similar in design philosophy, but I think Hijacked is actually the better map. The reason is it was more narrow and streamlined. It actually made it a bit less random and more balanced. I know things could get insane here and people would spawn trap every now and again, but it never felt like it was out of hand or like you had no way out of the situation. If you were able to take the B flag and Dom, you were the man. You were. This map absolutely had to be on the list. Some of you may have put it in the top 5, but I think there's a few maps that were better, but it was close. I mean, TREYARCH has made some absolute bangers over the year, and we're about to get into 5 of them. At number 5, Crossroads Strike. You heard me right. I said it. It's one of the least popular maps in Black Ops Cold War, but when TREYARCH came out with a new smaller version of Strike, well, Crossroads was the least popular, quickly became one of the most positively received maps in the game. A lot of people still consider it to be the best 6v6 map in that game as a whole. Feels very old school in the design. Complements the movement and longer time to kill in Black Ops Cold War very well. Some people didn't like how old school the map felt, with some Reddit posts saying it felt dated and archaic, but I disagree with that. Maybe this is all because of the time the map came out. Black Ops Cold War is pretty desperate for some old school map design. But between the great layout, the fast-paced action, the visuals, and the unique tone of Cold War, I think Crossroads Strike is an awesome experience. I think it deserves to be in the top 5. Maybe a hot take, but every top 10 list has to have at least one. At number 4, Combine. Easily the best TREYARCH map of the Jetpack era. Smallest map in BO3. Well, at launch it was. Still my favorite in the game. It felt like something straight out of Black Ops 2, but with the addition of jetpacks and wall running. Somehow never felt too complicated or over the top. I mean, the advanced movement didn't do anything to me on that. It was awesome. I mean, even though you did have part of the map that was literally a bottomless pit to wall run on, but granted, that wall run would sometimes just kick you off for no reason, send you plummeting to your death, which was annoying, but it made the map fun. The middle, I mean, come on, intense. But the 2 home base buildings, they were unique and they had their own dynamics to each one of them. One of them was much more insulated. The other was exposed. It meant you had to play each of the 2 buildings different when you were fighting for control of them. Then you had the middle of the map where everything happened. It was a perfect way to translate the crazy action of the Black Ops series into a futuristic setting with jetpacks and advanced movement. I think it's one of the best maps of the jetpack era, if not the best. At number 3, Standoff. Is it the best sniper map in COD history? You tell me. I mean, it reminds me a lot of Crash from COD 4, but it's a bit more stripped down and aggressive. Crash had a lot of sniper vantage points, a chaotic center area, more methodical with the game flow. Standoff, much faster pace because of the flatter layout and the emphasis on flanking, which I think that's what made it so fun. The snipers would go up to one of the many second story windows, take their pot shots at each other, while the rest of the players in the lobby would run around the streets below trying to take each other out and regain control of the enemy team's buildings. In game modes like Dom and Hardpoint, there was some insane fights for control of those 3 buildings in the middle of the map. There was a couple loners would be off in the 4th building just taking random snipes at the people standing by the tank in the middle of the street. Standoff has been remade several times throughout COD history. It's often called one of the best sniping maps in the entire franchise. Black Ops 2 had some banger maps on launch day, and since we're on that topic, segue at number 2, Raid. It's rapidly becoming one of the most remade maps in COD history as well, but I don't think anybody's too pissed about it. Map takes place in Hollywood Hills, fighting around in some rich guy's mansion, blowing up his cars, destroying his fancy architecture, but you know what? It was worth it. Very fast-paced map, tons of interesting dynamics and power positions, as well as the Slums-style midsection where only the bravest players would make it out alive. Who remembers the tree? Every playstyle could be viable here if you were willing to learn the layout and figure out what you were supposed to do in every situation. The snipers could hang out in the windows. The rushers would go to the middle lane or try to sneak through the buildings. The shotgunners would sit outside the main structures and cause you to break your controller, so on and so forth. Raid debuted in Black Ops 2. It was remade in Black Ops 3, Black Ops Cold War, COD Mobile. It's part of the Blackout Battle Royale map as well. I mean, it hasn't made its way to Black Ops 6, but it's going to happen. Come on. I don't mind. And at number 1, never a doubt for me, Firing Range. Best TREYARCH map ever. Come on. Perfect representation of a TREYARCH Call of Duty map. Small but not too small. Fast but not too fast. Tons of great power positions. Super strong but not so strong that whoever gets them first wins. This map debuted in Black Ops, and while it was one of the smallest maps in the game, never felt too crazy like Nuketown could. You could fight your way through the military training facility, try to get to the drop on the other team over and over again, find new ways to weave in and out of the wooden structures, get devastating kill streaks. Napalm, carpet bomb, those were in particular insane here because of how much of the map you could cover with a single strike. Really wasn't any shocker that this map was remade in almost every Black Ops game. It's not in Black Ops 6, but just like Raid, it's coming. In fact, Firing Range leaked for Black Ops 6 before Black Ops 6 even launched, so we know for a fact it's going to be coming this year. If you ask me, this is the best TREYARCH map in COD history. I absolutely welcome another remake. I will truly never get tired of playing this map. Let me know 2 maps that were deserving of making this, and I'll see you soon.